Thank you for watching our crash course for MBA. Our first topic for marketing is consumer analysis. All marketing plans should begin with a look at the all-important consumer and his or her needs. People do not have the same needs or desires. The objective of consumer analysis is to identify segments or groups within a population with similar needs so that marketing efforts can be directly targeted to them. Several important questions must be asked to find the right market segment. First, what is the need category? Second, who is buying and who is using the product? Third, what is the buying process? Fourth, is what I'm selling a high or low involvement product? Lastly, how can I segment the market? Several questions can be added from the first question. Questions like, who needs us and why? What is the need or use that your product addresses? The question may seem unnecessary, but in answering it you may uncover a potential market for the product that was previously overlooked. That is why this question has to be addressed first, before you begin to pollute your mind with conventional thoughts. The second question is who is buying us, who is using the product? Buyers many times are different from users. Women, for example, make the majority of purchases of men's underwear and socks. If an advertising campaign wanted to target the buyer of men's socks, it would probably be inappropriate to buy space in Sports Illustrated. Determining the buyer as well as the user provides the essential initial insights to create a marketing plan. The next question we have is, what is the buying process? Once you have established the need, and who is making the purchases, you should try to form a hypothesis on how the product is bought. Marketing research is a prime source of information, but just as valid are your own observations, investigation, and intuition. Understanding the buying process is critical, because it will lead to the possible routes to reach buyers. The buying process includes all the steps that a person takes leading to a purchase. It is also called the adoption process and the problem-solving process by some academics. Some researchers call it a learn-feel-do process. Others call it AIDA, for attention, interest, desire, and action. This topic had boiled the theories down to 5 steps. For any particular product, the buying process can include one or all of the following steps. In the instance of a soap purchase, the process would look like this. The customer will smell the body, and ask what should I use? Maybe I can ask my wife for advice. Then go to the store, read some labels, buy the soap, take a bath, smell the body odor, buy the soap next time. The first step is awareness or interest and problem recognition. A customer might say, I might need something. At some point a person will realize a need, like the need to use soap. Advertising may trigger that need. Prestige products such as designer clothes and fragrances trigger desire. They meet emotional needs such as love and group acceptance. You need to ask yourself, how do consumers become aware of my product? Where are my targets likely to be exposed to my message? After being aware of the product, a buyer might do an information search. A buyer might say, sounds good, let me find out more about it. People involved in purchase decisions are confronted with information from a variety of sources, like consumer reports, salespeople, specialty magazines, family, friends, and local experts. As a marketing manager, you want your target market to get as much favorable information as possible about your product when and where buyers make their buying decisions. For example, Store displays play that role at the point of purchase or POP. CoverGirl Cosmetics has a display in drugstores to help buyers select colors. A buyer may also evaluate their alternatives, and might say, which one is best for me? This includes not only products within a category, but substitutes as well. When confronted with the high prices of automobiles, a college student may end up buying a motorcycle, a moped, or a bicycle. Depending on the importance of the product, consumers may seek additional information and advice. Car purchases often include a trip to the local mechanic, or the neighborhood car buff. Placing positive information where your buyers are likely to look is one key to marketing success. At this stage of the buying process, the marketing manager would like to identify the influencers of his target's buying behavior. Distribution is also crucial at the evaluation stage of the buying process. If a product is not readily available, a comparable substitute may be chosen just for convenience, or immediacy of need. Coca-Cola's and Pepsi's wide distribution makes it tough for any new cola competitor to ever be any more than a fringe brand. Even if you crave for fruit juice drink, you will probably accept a Coke, or a Pepsi, when you're thirsty at the beach. The next step of the buying process is the purchase decision. This is the big sale. Even though the decision to buy could be yes, in certain instances the first purchase is only a trial. Adoption of new and improved Bounty paper towels as your regular brand occurs only after a successful test with those tough spills. With many big-ticket items, such as ocean cruises and appliances, a trial is not possible. In those instances the decision process is more time-consuming and difficult to make because there is more risk involved. It is very important for the marketer to understand risk. Through the use of a number of marketing tools, such as advertising, knowledgeable salespeople, warranties, and printed materials, purchase risk can be reduced by offering the buyer information explaining what level of performance he or she can expect, as well as providing a basis of comparison with competing products. The last step of the buying process is the post-evaluation. A buyer after purchasing a product might say, "Did I make a mistake?" This conclusion can be reached either on a physical level by testing the product's efficacy or on a psychological level by checking for peer approval. Buyer's remorse and post-purchase dissonance are terms to describe the period of confusion that often follows a purchase. Automobile advertising, for example, is not only targeted at potential buyers, but also at recent buyers to reassure them that they didn't screw up when they bought a Dodge Caravan minivan instead of a Honda Odyssey. In trying to understand the buying process, the first sparks of a marketing plan can be ignited into a tentative idea about advertising or promotion. The next question we have under consumer analysis, is the product we have a high or a low involvement product? As the discussion of buyer behavior indicates, different products elicit different purchase behaviors because of their inherent importance to the buyer and user. If the consumer feels a high level of risk in buying a product, then it is considered a high involvement product. There are several reasons for high involvement purchase decisions. First, the need for the product's benefits, examples reliability, as in the case of a pacemaker. Second, the need for the product's psychological reward, examples are status and love. A helpful matrix captures the possible behaviors resulting from the interaction of the levels of involvement and product differences. By understanding the possible behaviors, you, as a marketer, may be able to take advantage of this knowledge to sell your product. This academic model does have real-world implications for action. A high-involvement product, such as a Harley-Davidson motorcycle, would appear in the upper left-hand corner of the matrix. The model would suggest that Harley's marketing efforts should be geared toward demonstrating its technical superiority, but also include an emotional appeal like buy an American classic, to engender loyalty. The marketer's magic is at work when he or she transforms a previously low-involvement product into a high-involvement one. Athletic shoes are a prime example. Once just functional shoes for gym class, sports shoes have become a status symbol for young people. The conversion of a low-involvement product to a high-involvement product can make a simple commodity product stand out against an undifferentiated field of competitors. There are 4 generic ways you can make your product stand out. First, by linking product to a high-involvement issue. The next way is using involving advertising, and changing the importance of product benefits, and introducing important characteristic to product. The first way is linking product to a high-involvement issue. An example of this linking, Procter & Gamble's Puritan no cholesterol cooking oil, to a wife's fear of a husband's heart attack, is a classic example of an advertising ploy. The next way is using involving advertising. If the advertising creates a value-expressive message about the product or service, then a product can become important. Such messages link values, such as social status, and love, instead of promoting physical product attributes, to differentiate the product from the competition. Pepsi tries to link being modern and youthful with its products by using singers in elaborate commercials to sell its soda. Another way is changing the importance of product benefits. Products as well as services provide a variety of benefits. If through marketing action a benefit can be raised to a heightened level of importance, buyers are likely to become more involved. The beer wars of the 1980s made calories an important competitive issue. In the 2000s it is carbohydrates. An overlooked attribute, calories, made health-conscious drinkers more aware of their purchasing decisions, and consequently Miller Lite made out like a bandit. The last way is introducing important characteristic to product. A marketer can also tinker with some of the elements of the product itself to distinguish it. When child-proof caps were introduced on household cleaners, the involvement of parents in this purchase decision was heightened. The first products with protection caps stood out on the store shelves. But once all competitors copied the cap, new avenues of differentiation were needed and the purchase returned to its low-involvement status. Truly low-involvement products often are that way because a minimum level of acceptable performance is required. A thumbtack, for example, does not have a difficult job to perform. No matter what the brand, you can't go too wrong. If the cost of trial is low, such as for a pack of gum, involvement is difficult to stimulate. Related to involvement is the level of purchase planning. Is the purchase planned or an impulse buy? High-involvement products are usually planned, while impulse products are bought on the spur of the moment. If a purchase is planned, then a buyer is likely to seek information. If not, the proximity of the product to the need is important. Snack foods are an example of impulse buying. Midday hunger leads to the nearest junk food. The last question we have under consumer analysis is, do I intend to segment the market? Why and how? The question, who is our consumer, is central to the marketing task. If you think you have something that is for everyone, then a mass market strategy is appropriate. If your product satisfies the masses, then feed it to them. If not, you must choose a segment or segments of the market to target. Segments are homogeneous groups of similar consumers with similar needs and desires. For instance, Coca-Cola uses a mass market approach to get everyone drinking the real thing. Snapple, a specialty tea, appeals to a more narrowly defined market segment. It's priced higher and its bottle is shaped different. Snapple appeals to a special segment of the soft drink market. Segmentation of the market serves the following functions. First, to identify segments large enough to serve profitably. Second, to identify segments that can efficiently be reached by marketing efforts. Third, to help develop marketing programs. By having a definite segment in mind, you can effectively aim and efficiently execute your marketing activities to yield the most sales and profits. There are 4 major variables used in segmenting consumer markets. The first one is geographic, demographic, psychographic, and behavioral. Geographic segmentation divides the market by country, state, region, and city. Demographic segmentation divides a population based on the following measurable variables to reach a homogeneous group of people. Like age, for different generations different wants and needs. Sex, for gender use and buying patterns. Income, for the ability to purchase. Marital status, for family needs. Family life cycle, for starting out, empty nesters, etc. Education or occupation, for indication of the sophistication of the consumer. Ethnicity, religion, and race, for particular tastes and preferences. Psychographic segmentation divides the market by psychological differences. Like lifestyle, for activities, interests, and opinions. Personality, for conservative, risk-taking, status-seeking, compulsive, ambitious, authoritarian, gregarious. People may have different hot buttons that advertising can try to trigger. Psychographic segmentation is difficult. Personality variables are tougher to identify and quantify than demographics, but they can be valuable. Behavioral segmentation divides the market by observable purchase behaviors. Like usage, for amount of use, manner of use, benefits sought. Purchase occasion, for gift, vacation, seasonal, etc. Brand loyalty, for loyalty to one product indicates receptiveness to others. Responsiveness to price and promotion, like some groups respond to special marketing efforts more than others. An example of that is, housewives use more coupons than single professional women. Marketers must not only select the right group of variables, but also decide how many to use. The correct number of useful variables will identify the most accessible and receptive target, not the most specific. For example, it is possible to describe a target segment for Corvettes as brown-haired, male, 25 to 65 years old, with income over $75,000. However, the ability to target just brown-haired men with effective advertising is limited and its usefulness would be dubious. Is brown hair a necessary segmentation variable? There are no magazines exclusively targeted to brown-haired males. Besides, blonde and red-headed men may also be a reasonable market for Corvettes. You should use the following criteria to evaluate possible marketing segments. Measurability: can you identify the segment? Can you quantify its size? Accessibility: can you reach the segment through advertising, sales force or distributors, transportation, or warehousing? Substantiality: is the segment large enough to bother with? Is the segment shrinking, maturing, or growing? Profitability: are there enough potential profits to make targeting it worthwhile? Compatibility with competition: are your competitors interested in this segment? Are competitors currently investigating it, or is it not worth their trouble? Effectiveness: does your company have the capabilities to adequately service this segment? Defendability: can you defend yourself against a competitor's attack? With that theoretical background, Here's a sample demographic profile of gourmet coffee buyers that marketers actually use. First, 25 to 54 years old, college educated, professional or business executive employment, childless households, household incomes greater than $50,000. This market segment is measurable, accessible, large, and profitable. Consequently, many large coffee companies continue to target it. Even in markets that appear hopeless, there may be a segment that others overlook. Xerox controlled 88% of the copier market in the 1970s. The majority of its sales came from large and medium-sized units. But by 1985, Xerox had lost more than half of its market share. What happened? Xerox ignored the small copier market. Thousands of small companies with light copy needs had to run to the local copy shop every time they had a copy job. Canon, Sharp, and Ricoh seized this market by selling a smaller and less expensive copier. With a foothold in small copiers, the Japanese competitors proceeded to topple Xerox in the large copier segment of the market. Consumer analysis serves to prime the pump when you need to form a comprehensive marketing strategy. Do it first so as not to stifle your creativity with the quantitative analysis you will perform as part of the strategy development framework. On a first pass, you can make an intuitive choice of a target segment. After the other steps are completed, it can be altered to fit an evolving marketing strategy.